Welcome back to 56th International Biel Chess Festival. Today is International Chess Day, and we're having our third result. Third game has just finished in a draw, in an interesting rook and knight against rook endgame. I am here having with me David Navarra and Joey Mussart. Would you like to share some insights from your game?
Yes, please. David, yes, I feel like you want to show some lines.
Thank you. I unfortunately cannot click here.
Come here.
Okay, thank you. Okay, fine. So it's sort of judo as well.
I almost crushed it.
Okay, I decided to play something surprising because I feared that I would not have get much with one e4 or one d4 either. And in Catalan, one cannot spoil it too much mostly. So I learned some lines, but I did not look at c6. So. I played it similarly to the line with a6, hoping that it could be slightly better for me in this version. But after queen b6, the problem is that I cannot really play knight e5 here because of knight g4.
And also on the last move, you can show that you cannot go knight e5 as well.
Yes, I will show also on the next move. I think there is knight e3 now.
Knight e3,
knight e3, and now this, and queen e1. But here it becomes more tricky. Actually, I also considered starting with a4.
Like here also you cannot. You know, after knight b7, you cannot, that's the point, yeah? You cannot go here immediately, because it doesn't work because of knight b4.
Yes, yes. I can go queen e2.
Yeah, but then I move the queen and knight comes to...
Well, I play a3.
Yeah, but this is...
Yes, okay, fine.
This is completely fine for black.
Okay, and yes, here I also wanted to play knight e5, but there might be some problem.
Again, it's...
I'm not sure if it works because it's quite tricky. These ideas with knight e3 doesn't seem to... Oh, there's take and d2 is hanging.
Yes.
Very nice, yes.
That's...
I saw something...
The simple way.
Yes, you are right. I saw something...
With c5,
yeah? No, c5 doesn't work probably because of this.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, not that it would be so bad, but there are some problems like that.
With the knight, yeah,
yes,
I saw it's kind of trapped.
For
I can play the same without c5 as well, but then you have bishop e5 and the knight is trapped.
I dislike this because now c5 is returning and also there are various other problems. So this is probably losing to c5 because my queen is also hanging in many lines and there are problems. I'm sorry, not this.
Looks like mate.
Yes, and if white plays something like bishop c5, there could be rook d3, rook d8. So I decided to play a4. On the previous move, it had its advantages, but here it also makes sense. But I'm afraid that c5 is good. So
yeah, c5 solves all my problems, and then.
Yes, actually, if I play this...
Yeah, this is tricky, huh? With bishop e3.
e3 actually, and only spotted it after my move, but probably it's somehow fine because my queen doesn't have so many retreats.
Yeah, don't have good squares. And I can go rook c8 simply.
Yes. So, a4, c5. I even wonder what happens if black takes here.
Yeah, consider this one, but queen c5, yeah? I saw before and...
Yes, maybe
I don't know. It's a mess. I didn't want to... I just saw that after queen b3, this bishop d5...
Yes, should be fine.
We should just make a draw in like 2 minutes.
I hoped to get a slightly better endgame, but it was not really slightly better.
It was even slightly worse, yeah?
Yeah, later it was, yes.
No, but you should play... I don't know why you play knight d3.
Because...
You should go to c4.
Okay, mostly the knight belongs to d3, but with pawns a and a2 and b7 here.
Here I think you should go knight c4.
I think probably it's equal in all the cases. I was just afraid.
Yeah, but this, I mean, I'm a bit better probably.
I don't believe that you are better.
I mean, in the game, you show that I'm the one pushing.
No, I don't think
here? Here, I mean, you have absolutely zero problem.
Yes, I agree with you about knight c4, but I think white is completely fine after
no,
knight
but
d3
you have to be careful. I don't risk anything.
Me neither. I mean, everything is
I mean,
protected.
in the game, it was very close, yeah?
Yes, because I blundered something.
Yeah, but still, I will go f5, bring the king, rook b5.
Okay, I can give a check and play f4, for example, b4 if needed, or maybe not if I don't want to. But my problem was that I was playing for some tactics and forgot about e5.
You were playing for mate, no?
Yes, for some tricks, because the position is generally equal, so there was nothing but tricks. But I mean, if I play something like f4, b4, for example, it's that equal.
I will go
can-
f6, king g6, e5, e4. I don't think it's completely equal.
Oh, okay.
The knight
But
is...
yes, but once you play e5, I can sometimes take. I have c5 square for my knight. After
Yeah, but
e4, I
my
have
bishop is
F-
much stronger than the knight. If you go here,
But your bishop is not attacking my pawns now.
yeah, but this pawn will be weak.
no, I'm pretty sure.
In practical play, I think.
No, I'm pretty sure white is completely fine. But
Objectively, yes.
yes, not even objectively. I mean, not just. Okay,
What?
I would prefer go here.
Yes.
Just I missed one idea here. Okay.
But already, even if you don't miss this idea, it's not so...
No, I think if I don't miss the idea, it's pretty equal. Because
What do you play then?
Okay, I will have a think what to do, but
I mean, maybe you have to go f4, but
yes, I agree that my previous moves were not great, but I want to play
f4,
f4
I'll go f6.
basically.
6,
Okay, I
e5.
can play g4 sometimes.
Yeah, but I take e5. Or
Yes, I
e5
take-
immediately, yeah?
I take and
E5
Yes,
immediately.
e5 immediately is a different story. I agree because if you exchange, I have
Yes,
king
yes.
f3 and
I mean, of course, you're fine, but
both
Yeah.
sides are fine. I can either go here, take and play king f3, or go knight f4.
yeah, it's
Yes.
just a draw.
Yes, it should be equal everywhere.
Short question, Jules, have you offered a draw at some moment
No,
there?
no.
Because it felt like you said something to
No,
David.
no, no.
Okay.
He said Jadoub, and
Ah.
I nodded.
Ah, okay. Good to know.
No.
It's
And here it got very tactical somehow.
Yes, because I forgot about e5 here. I wanted to play for some. I was still in a mood for playing for a win, although it's just equal, and I missed this. I wanted to prevent bishop d4, which
Yeah.
is nothing, and I forgot about e5 at this moment, so it was
Yeah.
really silly. And
But
actually,
you got g4, so it's...
yes, actually here, white can just play b7, and it should be a simple draw still, because yes, I think probably still.
If I take?
I think I can just play like this. Sometimes
Yeah,
I have
but
this check,
why-
but
why-
king
why is
d6 is tricky. Okay, sorry, not here. I will just take.
I'm just pawn up, no?
Yes, you are just pawn up, and
Okay.
I have counterplay.
Yeah, but you have to...
Yes,
we'll push.
yes, I just
Okay, it's...
found it
must be a
unpleasant.
draw again, but...
Yes, I agree. I just found it
Yeah.
unpleasant to maybe g4, king f4, g5, king f4, or king f4 immediately. Yes, psychologically unpleasant when I was trying to find something and then just go for an endgame upon down. So I decided to play b4 instead. And I realized that you had this king g5.
But king g5 is very bad.
Yes, luckily for me.
And I was not sure about this one, because first I wanted to take... wait, no, can you come back?
Yes,
Just like this. If I take it, there is this funny move, yeah?
of course I missed this one, but it's really nice.
I just wanted to show. I don't know if it's good,
Yes,
but...
it's really nice. I think I would have taken it.
Yeah,
and
but
the-
I mean, I should just go for e4.
Yes.
And here, I mean, I should have something better than king
Okay,
g5.
you can play king e5.
I
if
should
you
play
want
king
to.
e5, but then e3 takes
Yes,
rook b7,
Yes, exactly.
and or check. Wait, you
Or
have
rook f8 is
rook
the other
f8.
option.
Yeah, you have
I think it
many
should
moves.
be fine because I'm mostly able to reach the
Yeah, and the
defense square
problem
with
is that my
knight.
bishop cannot go to d4. So, like, let's say this,
I
even
can check and play knight d5 here,
yeah,
and I'm in time to catch.
yeah, you're
your
in time, and I mean that
Yes,
could be dangerous even for me.
yes, I agree.
So, but even if you take this pawn and go back and with the g pawn,
Yes, but
it's not easy to promote this pawn.
Yes,
so I
I
just
agree.
felt
Yes.
like king g5 was safer, but I completely missed your idea to go rook
okay, I
b7.
had to find some idea. Actually, even
Yeah,
rook f8
I
is
saw
an
rook
of course-
f8, and then there is this kind of
Okay, I go here anyway. I
Yeah.
think. It's around equal anyway here.
yeah.
Here I decided to be tricky with this knight e2.
No, it
because-
was good because
Yes,
it
it
put
is.
a lot of pressure because I had little time. Just wanted to force a draw, and then I have to find some moves because it's not so easy. Because I might lose my pawns, and then who knows?
In blitz, I would have gone for this
And
one.
then this, yeah.
Can you?
I think
Maybe
so.
I can take and rook f2.
Take a5.
I understand. I'm not risking anything, and probably it's a.
I mean,
draw.
it's
Yes.
just a draw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
should be, because I need to
Yeah.
stop one pawn, and then you will.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if
Yes.
probably you cannot lose. You could go e4 and then you cannot lose.
I should not.
But
really-
okay, it's just a draw.
Yes. So
And if you go, if you go check, I have bishop g5 here
yes, you are right.
because you cannot here.
I can
Knight
take on
e4,
e4,
h6, yeah.
Yes, you are right. I actually saw the move king g5, which is also possible because now you are in
Yes.
time to protect
Yes.
the pawn, and the a7 pawn could become dangerous. So I decided to play it safer. Then I realized there could be rook c4 at
No,
some
knight
point.
c3 was nice. I didn't see this.
Okay, rook c4 is still pretty equal. Actually, everything is equal, but at least I am the one who is pushing now.
Wait, there are some nice lines here.
Yes, there were some.
No,
Ye-
so
yes.
after king e6,
Yes,
yes?
you are right. If I go here and rook h6,
No, rook
rook
h2, rook
h2,
h2, a6.
rook h2 a6.
Yes.
No, I think rook h2 king d5.
No, a6.
And why not?
Okay, maybe, but a6 is just a draw. I don't want
Okay, but king d5 is a nice line, and
You have
black
to
is
click
by no
first.
means worse.
Wait.
First click.
Yes.
Okay, I will try.
No, no, no.
Okay.
No,
so,
no, no.
Yes, sorry. So
Again, here.
new variation. So let's go here.
King here.
Yes, you are.
And it's important I have this check, and if you go here, I have this check
Yes,
again.
it's nice. I saw another nice line here, namely king d5.
But knight c3?
Yes, but I don't know who is playing for a win here, because black gives this check. The king
Yeah.
needs to go somewhere. Black takes, what checks. And somehow, with my knight here and the a7 pawn here, it did not look.
Can I even go a5?
I'm not sure, but
Because I go king no, I cannot.
maybe,
I mean,
maybe
maybe I can.
maybe you can, but then after knight d4, you
I don't go king c3, I go,
a2.
and then I...
Maybe you can. My
Okay, it's a
problem
draw,
was-
yeah.
My problem was that it's not
Problem.
white who is playing this
Yes,
for
yes.
a win. You
Okay, I
can
didn't see this
also
one.
retreat
Yes.
to your bishop, and
Yes.
so I.
No, because after
yes.
king h2, there is no, after rook h2, there is a... No, yeah, it's here.
Yes. If you went here, there was a rook d6.
Rook d6, rook d2,
you
yes.
saw that.
And again, if you go rook e5 on the previous move,
Yes.
because you can go rook e5, I
King
don't know.
d7 is there, and a6 is third.
Yes, but here,
I think you.
e6, king g2.
Oh, I missed this one.
Yes.
Nice. But still, if the rook goes here.
Yes, this is what I saw, and the knight is kind of trapped.
Yes, yes.
Probably you go knight d4 maybe, then you have
Yes,
check
if-
and
Then I don't
like
lose
here.
at least.
So I was not completely sure, but then
Or you can just exchange play king d6 and.
But I-
whatever.
I go here and take, but I bring the king to e5, which would be a draw.
Yes. It must
But I have
a
to be
draw
careful in this endgame,
Mm-hmm.
because if I lose this pawn for nothing, then it's
Yes.
might be a little lost.
It depends on what to do with your
Yeah,
pawn, but.
But
yes.
there was an endgame I saw in my like Param Maxudlu played very similar endgame with the two pawns like this, rook and knight against rook and bishop with the pass pawn here,
Mhm.
and it was lost for
Yes.
black. So I kind of knew that I have to be careful here. And so, okay, there are some other lines, but
Yes. I just decided to try some tricks. Basically, it's a dead draw, but the only chance is that black steps into some fork, and there were some tricks still with some rook h7.
yeah, like
knight-
here I have
yes.
to, this is what I played, yeah? No, knight d4.
I think probably nothing works here.
But if I go here, then it's kind of tricky.
Okay, you cannot go rook f7
Yes.
because of this.
And for example, I can just be a bit
Yes.
careless and just lose.
Actually, even in the final position, there was, I mean, white could still have played rook g3, but
Yeah, and with the
Yes.
same.
with
yeah.
the same idea.
Same
but,
ideas, yeah,
Gilles
rook
has
f3, yeah.
already avoided the fork once earlier in
Yeah.
the game, and I mean, if there were 30 more moves to be played, I would have tried for a while. I actually played this endgame many times, and always it was a draw. Mostly I stopped after 30 moves, now up to about 40 or 39 moves. But basically I'm trying because the chance is extremely low, but still there is some very slight chance. Actually, and I lost that endgame with rook and knight against rook because I forgot about time in rapid with increment against Jon Ludwig Hammer, so it was silly. But
But there is a game in the Bundesliga that was played some months ago between, I think, Valero and Rager. was rook and knight, and the beginning was like kind of like this, and at some point he was lost.
Yes.
They drew, but he was completely lost. So I knew that I have to be a bit careful somewhere.
I think there was also a game, Ponomariov, Vtáčník Ponomariov from Czech Extra League, also with the same material. Actually, White already started with the king in the corner, but it was still drawn, but difficult, and White lost. But okay, you defended well, and of course it's a drawn endgame. But actually, I saw the game. Raga Ponomariov or the Raga Vallejo or the other way around, because I was playing in pair with Zolingen. So
yeah.
Yeah, actually, first question is about this topic. You started discussing the games which have already been tricked and lost because in the rook with minor piece. Have you ever had such experience? You said you lost on time?
I lost on time, and I had quite a specific experience in Katowice 2017 in European Blitz Championship, because I twice defended against the rook and minor piece with my king and rook, and the games all together had like 3,030 moves, and the second had 1,097 moves. And
100, no?
100, sorry, 100. 330 moves and 197 moves, and actually it had been like some 75 or maybe even 80 moves, but I have no calculator in my head, so I was just playing, trying not to step into fork, not to lose on time. Unfortunately, the arbiter had not stepped in 15 seconds later, because it would have been 200 moves then.
Oh my God.
Actually, I defended king and rook against king, rook, and bishop many times, and twice I won it against strong GMs. Once the initial position was winning, and once it was not at all.
Against whom?
When it was winning, it was Grandmaster Bakro in, I think it was Mainz Chess 960 last round, 2007. And when it was winning, I know, but out of the respect for a great player who was just out of form, I would not call his name.
Okay, that will be a secret. And you, Jules?
I don't know. I think I had rook and bishop with the rook only, like in the European Championship, and I drew. But usually I don't get to endgame, so I'm not a big expert of this kind of,
You were not expecting today to in
No,
your preparation.
especially when we got like here, not here. It's still rook and knight.
Maybe.
Yes.
Like here, or even before. I just expected to make a draw in like 30 moves, go back home, and we had to play 70 more.
I wanted to ask you about your outfit. I guess yesterday, David, you had the black outfit, you played black, and today you have light outfit, you play white.
Yes, I have two dark suits here and one light suit, but actually I wanted to put it on already on the first day, but it was raining and there was a storm, and it would not have looked nice because I mean, water cannot be seen so much on the dark one, so I took this, yes.
Jules, you're playing black, but you're looking all white.
I used to wear black when I'm playing black and white when I'm playing white, but I mean, I realized that it doesn't matter. You just have to.
But at least you prepared correctly for black.
I prepared with black, yes.
One more question. Today is International Chess Day. How do you celebrate, or if you celebrate?
We are going to celebrate after the game with my.
We celebrated with a draw?
Yes. Yes.
Maybe I should have celebrated by getting to 100 moves. I don't know.
Yes. I would be happy to play like all night long for the this happy day.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for analysis. We wish you good luck for the next round.
Thank you for your attention. Have a good day.
Thank you.
We are back. 3 games have finished in the third round of the GMT tournament of the 56th International Biel Chess Festival. That's the game that Eric Rosen earlier here in the studio, when he joined, he said, you have a long day ahead of you, and he was right, because Yu Yanyi is still pressing against Daniel Bogdan-Diak. And before we are going to have a glimpse what's happening in this game, perhaps let's have a look at the results.
Yeah, and here we have the results of the round 3. We have a nice victory from Vincent Keimer against Lekwang Liam, outplaying him in the opening. We have current game still ongoing, Yu Yanyi against Bogdan Daniel Diak, but David Navarra has just been together with Jules Mussart in the studio commenting on their games. Interesting draw with Rook and Knight against the Rook endgame. And here we have the Bassem Amin finally coming back with 4 points, with a victory against Arjun Erigaisi after having not such a great start of the event.
And in the standings, it's Keimer with Navarra who are sharing the lead once again together. Of course, by the tiebreaks, technically it's Navarra who is ahead because he was higher ranked in the Chess 960 tournament. It does not mean much yet at the moment. However, these 4 points for the German Grandmaster were very important to solidify his ambition to finally win the Biel's GMT tournament with his 5th appearance here in Switzerland.
Yeah, absolutely. They are walking shoulder to shoulder, starting from the rapid event. In the rapid, they shared the first place, and now Vincent finally caught Navarra in the classical portion. After them, we have Lekwang Liam, who lost. He stopped his winning streak after 2 wins in the first and second round and lost to Vincent Keimer. We have Bassem Amin, slightly but confidently climbing up to the top with 12 totally points right now. Together with him is Yu Yanyi with 12 points. Still could score an extra point after this game. Jules Mussart with 10.5 points, very solid result. He has so far 3 out of 3 draws. Arjun Erigaisi with 8 points had quite a tough start of to the classical portion of the GMT. And we have Bogdan Daniel Diak with 4.5 points on the last spot.
This one more game is being played on, and that's why we are going to check what's happening. Diak is putting up a very solid resistance. So we have them on the video. For the Chinese Grandmaster, things are slipping out, and he is slowly but carefully, unfortunately for him, moving away from the victory. Because when we had this position, let me put it, some time ago, like about here, and we were predicting this should be a tactical victory. White has 2 bishops, White has an extra pawn. Every reason to be happy. However, it was the Romanian Grandmaster who kept defending, and he was not committing to any more mistakes. So here, perhaps a critical moment was when Black found a way how to force the bishop trade, which probably was something that Yu Yanyi should have avoided. Very nice trap, by the way, bishop c8, bishop e6. There's no way to avoid this bishop trade. So king d2, bishop b3, and from here things became much more difficult for the Chinese Grandmaster. So he tried to sacrifice the pawn on c5 to get the pawn on g7 instead. However, it was just not meant to be, because now bishop f8 is met by, let me just show it to you, bishop f8 is met by knight e6, and Black is holding. Black is holding the position together. He took the pawn, and he's still holding it.
You know, I'm just recalling now the game in the first round, Yu Yanyi against Arjun Erigaisi, where Yu Yanyi had a very, very big advantage. He had even winning position once he lost that advantage, and he managed to, the Arjun Erigaisi managed to get away with a draw in that game. And this reminds me that game very much, because the endgame with 2 bishops, with an extra pawn, it felt like you could just push, and squeeze your opponent slowly and confidently. But there was a miss. This very nice bishop c8, bishop e6 idea with trading of the bishops brought some unluck to Chinese Grandmaster, and he lost the pawn on c5.
Right, some bad luck for the Chinese Grandmaster, but I mean, converting material advantage is one of the greatest topics in chess. As you can see, in case you have your problems in your games that you are sometimes being hard on yourself, that you let the victory go. Well, you see, this is also happening at the highest level. The game you mentioned against Arjun Gaisi, now today we are seeing exactly the same. Yu Yanyi again lets the victory slip away. However, let's not completely write down his chances because he's still pushing. Black potentially has targets on G7, H6, and E5, and the game is ongoing.
Yeah, and also one more important fact is that knight and the king are both on the queen side, where there are no pawns, nothing to protect. If we could magically move the king and the knight to the queen side, king side, let's say to f6, okay, yeah, also to h7, and knight somewhere to f6, to e6, that would be a perfect protecting position. There would be nothing else. But because the king and the knight are so far away to the queen side, there are still some chances for Yu Yanyi to push.
Yeah, by the way, why don't you do that immediately? Something like rook b7 makes perfect sense. You protect the knight and you want to free the king to march to f7 or f6, whichever square is it. So definitely there will be some technical problems for the remaining Grandmaster to overcome. However, the way the game is continuing, it looks like he's heading to a draw. So he is putting up a fierce resistance. He is not willing to go down once again because for Diak, the tournament so far is not really going so well. Just 960 rapid tournaments, they were, again, rather disappointing results. Pretty much the same as for Arjun Gaisi. And we discussed this, Angelica, right? In this very strong tournament, when you have 8 invited Grandmasters, all of them are playing about 27 Kang Elo level, somebody has to finish in the last place. No matter how you put it, somebody's going to win it, and somebody has to finish in the last place. And that's why the competition is so tough, but Diak is fighting until the end. My prediction, Angelica, is going to be a draw.
Yeah, I completely agree with you because you know how strong the grandmasters are here, even though sometimes something gets over control. But we can see that after the straight of the bishop, after taking the pawn on c5, he says to us that he is ready to defend this position and go into the draw.
What we're going to do now, probably we are going to make another schedule break because these interviews with the players, they were not scheduled breaks. We're just setting up the cameras for you. Well, let's make another break. Then after the break, we are going to come back. We are going to keep the game and screen for you so that you can see what's going on, so you're not going to miss a thing. We could then resume our commentary from the GMT, also perhaps have a glimpse what is happening in the MTO and some other tournaments. So don't go anywhere. Once again, enjoy the International Chess Day, which is celebrated all over the world, and we'll be back after a short while. Take care and see you in a moment. We are back, or I am back from Biel, the 56th International Chess Festival, because Angelica is gone at the moment to organize things for the Beauty Awards. There's this new tradition to determine the most beautiful games that were played in every round. All of the videos with the winners you also can check out uploaded on Biel's YouTube page. Only one game is left in the GMT tournament, round 3, which is Yu Yanyi against Wang Liam. So what we are going to do is let's check this game, estimate our outcome, estimate the outcome of this game, and then have a look at what's happening in the MTO. There you go, the game, which again probably is a very unfortunate scenario for the Chinese Grandmaster, because he was having very close to winning position early in the game, an extra pawn, 2 bishops. Now all of that feels like a distant memory, because the 2 bishop advantage is gone, the extra pawn is gone, and all is left is some minor pressure and chances to trick the opponent. The thing which gives the Chinese Grandmaster some hopes to win the game is that 3 of Black's pawns are positioned on the color of White's Dachshund bishop, and also the fact that the Black king is struggling to get to the king side. So right now, Diak is trying to figure out how to get the king, I guess, to the king side or liquidate the game, which I'm not exactly sure how to do that. So our suggestion before we took a break was rook b7, king d7, king e6, king f6, king f7, something like that. Try to get the knight on f6, and then just secure a draw in the pocket. So here Chinese Grandmaster has only last 17 minutes. Move 64, this means that the players already have received 15 minutes after reaching move 60. After move 60, all of the players receive plus 30 seconds for every made move, so no more real time trouble we can expect. Rook b7 is played, so this makes sense. Diak defends the knight so that the king can march to f7. And now the question is what the Chinese Grandmaster is going to do. Rook a6, maybe there's rook b6. Again, we have to calculate that. I would expect still king d7, because after rook b6, trade here, bishop f8, bishop g7 looks a bit dangerous for Black, if not to say winning for White. That's why most likely after rook a6 check, Black cannot trade the rooks. He has to play king d7, and there still could be some issues. Now knight c7, is that a threat attacking the rook and the bishop? Not clear. If I play rook g6, attacking the pawn, king e8, rook e6, king f7, and White wins a pawn. Right now, this already feels like a dream scenario for Yu Yanyi. Probably it's not going to happen. And indeed, king h2 is played on the board. I guess he's waiting for Black to play king d7. Yeah, really tough to say. I guess at some point White will have to play g4 to bring the king in the game. Otherwise, there's just no way to crash through. Everything is protected. There's some potential that this game might feature rook and bishop versus rook. If at some point Black gives away the knight for the remaining pawn. I hope it doesn't happen, because that would mean this game could be played on basically forever. That being said, let's perhaps have a look at some of the results of the MTO. In MTO, I do see some surprising outcomes. So maybe let's have a look of the overview camera. This is not the best one, maybe this one. Yeah, empty screen, I believe everybody has finished. Nothing is happening there, at least no, somebody is playing. Somebody is playing there. So let's select the top board where the highest standing ranked player in the MTO. Aryan Chopra was outplayed in round 4, playing against Yan Liu. Let's check how did this happen. E3, so we have the Slav. Knight h4, bishop e4, f3, bishop g6. Here, quite a popular line. Black here has choice to play queen c7 or queen b6, two major choices. Queen c7 is perhaps more ambitious. Here, bishop e7, knight g6. White claims the two bishop advantage, plays c takes, knight takes. Wasn't the c takes on d5 the main move here with knight c6? But probably also knight takes on d5 is a move. Long castle. The trick here is that black cannot really take on h2. Rook h2, rook h2, queen h2. If black does this, there's always queen b7. The pawn on b7 is under attack. Take, take. a5. Black tries to organize counterplay at the queen side. g4. g4, I guess white is implying that there will be some sort of a counterplay at the king side. Because eventually when you ask the question where the black king is going to go, not long castle because the black just committed himself to a7, a5, and not a short castle. Because if black castle is short, then white is just in time to play h4, h5, and open h5. Knight e7 was played. King b1 securing the king. b5, queen c2, rook c8. Bit strange looking move. e4, and black did castle short. Okay, that's really brave. I guess he felt that h4 is not a big threat. Here, c5, h5, white offers the queen trade. Rook, or not rook d4, but first bishop g3. Here, takes, takes, and rook d4. Very complex still. I mean, obviously, if black takes on d4, there's bishop takes on c7. Black took on f3. Looks normal to me. Bishop b2. Wow, look at that. What a resource. I mean, bishop e2 is one of the most beautiful moves I've seen lately. I mean, look at this. The point is, rook takes on g3 is rook takes on d7. White found a mating idea. The point is, rook d7, bishop c4, king f8, and rook h8, checkmate on the board. That was some really deep understanding from the Chinese player. So rook d4, rook f3, and bishop e2. Beautiful. The bishop is hanging, the rook is hanging, and yet black probably cannot take either of them. So he played rook f7 and bishop c4. Fantastic. Fantastic resource here. I'm not sure what black even should have done. So after rook f7, bishop c4, white secured himself an extra exchange. And from here, white's technique was strong enough. So instead of going after the pawn on a5, white went after the checkmate, sort of resembling the game of David Navarro against Arjun Erigaisi, the same trick. The black king has major difficulties to escape the mate. Black traded the rooks in order not to get mated, but then the entire queen side falls apart. A brilliant game. Let's select more. There's one game which is being played on right now. It's one of the high-seeded players, Quezada Perez, Luis Ernesto, playing against Hari Krishnan. Hari Krishnan, he is the player who beat Nikita Meshkov a couple of rounds ago. And I think his game was, if it didn't win the most beautiful game award, then it was definitely one of the most prettiest games of that particular round of the MTO. White has an extra pawn, but we have an opposite color bishop situation on the board. I guess we are not going to go through step by step through this game. Black has some time trouble problems because he's down in 1 minute, while white has extra pawn and almost 6 minutes, giving him some decent chances. Let me see if I can try to zoom in with a camera and search where they are. Looking for them. There might be right here. All right. Not sure how this camera, how far it zooms. Haven't really tested its limits. Oh, that's too much, I guess. All right, I guess that's the closest I can do. Yeah, as you can see, the hall is empty. Everybody has left, but last of the warriors are still there fighting it out. The time control for the MTO is shorter than the GMT. So perhaps let's have a look at very quickly who are the leading players of MTO and what's the prize fund and what we can expect. So the top seed of the MTO tournament is Buxanji, the well-known Chinese grandmaster. Second seeded player is Nguyen Ngo Trong-son. And what makes it rather interesting coincidence that the top seed player in both tournaments and the second seed player in both tournaments, the GMT and MTO, the first seeded player in both tournaments is a Chinese player, and the second seeded player comes from Vietnam. Rather interesting situation. The third seeded player is Aryan Chopra, who just lost today. I was showing you the game. Then we have some other very strong grandmasters here. Some of them already have fallen. Leo, you see, was seeded number 10, so he managed to take down the number 3 seeded player. And that's the prize fund they're fighting for. Overall, it's 28,000 Swiss francs plus various goods as prizes. The first place will receive 6,000 Swiss francs. Of course, there's also prizes for more players, for women, for veterans, making it a decent chance for everybody to fight for a prize. All right. Let me check if we can find some interesting results or upsets. Actually, I see one upset. Quite an unfortunate upset, as he's my countryman. He lost again. How did this happen? So, all right. The Sicilian Rosalimo, E6. I know he plays this lately. It's one of his favorite continuations. D3, 97, B3. Clearly not the main continuation. H4 is more common because white very quickly at some point plays H4, H5. H6, then with the bishop on B2 tries to create some problems with the pawn on G7. I mean, normally here black doesn't play knight f6, which would be the traditional way to start the development, because then after E5, knight E5, C4, knight C3, knight E4, bishop E3, white almost always claims advantage. That's why this knight E7 is more popular, because black plays the knight G6, he wants to play D6, E5, and maybe even take over the game with F5. H4, H5, bishop B2, D6, E5. Yeah, black, I guess, has to take, otherwise D5 is going to be C4. Takes on E5, and knight D2, look at that. That's pretty interesting. Oh, right, because after knight takes on E5, it's knight takes on H4. Although white could still play g3 and take the pawn on h5. This is actually a pretty common position. So after knight e5, I'm not really sure with h4, h5 included. Usually what happens is a trade, black plays f6, and he plays e5. So white is thinking about winning the pawn on c5. Think about bishop a3 at some point, knight e4, maybe queen e2, queen e3, winning the pawn on c5. Black sometimes sacrifices it and, relies on his center and two bishops. But what was played here, this e5, d takes d5, knight e2, this is a maneuver I've seen before, definitely in the Sicilian Rossolimo. So white ignores the pawn on e5, and instead he goes after the pawn on c5. At least usually this is what he does. Something like knight e4 and bishop a3. I slightly don't understand why this should be done. Probably a computer preparation. Knight f5, long castle. Maybe also what makes it rather problematic for black that his position is a bit static. So that's why black plays knight e4, try to undouble the pawns. Okay, h6, a bit strange move. Now white finally goes after the pawn on c5, which is the key idea. f3, g4, and suddenly the blocking is in the harm's way. Pushing away the knight from the center, king c2, a4, bishop a3. I mean, and white is not even taking this pawn on c5. It's unbelievable. Finally, white took it. Black is left with a terrible bishop, because if he takes on c4, d takes on c4, this knight has to retreat, and the white knight on c5 is reigning supreme. Not even to mention fork ideas on d7. b4, g4. A very strong game from white so far. d4, yeah, cementing the knight on e5 and c5. There's so little the black can do. And about here, yeah, black just resigned because the knight on d3 is pinned. Yeah, we have a lot of very strong players from India here in MTO. And yeah, unfortunately, my countryman fell against one of them. Great game. Let me see what else I can select. By the way, giving you updates about the game of Yuya Ni against Daniel Bogdandiak, there's nothing dramatic is happening right now. They're still, battling it out. Yuya Ni is trying to find a way to crash through. He hasn't succeeded yet, so that's why I'm not showing you the game at the moment. All right, let me see what else I can show you from MTO. There's the victory of the young Canadian talent, Jean-Rodrigue Lemieux. Was he the reigning world champion under 18, or was it a year ago? I mean, recently he won the world championship. And I happened to travel myself to Canada in the beginning of June to participate in a special tournament, one of the greatest tournaments that Canada was organizing lately, and I see him here actually. He is here actually. How are you doing, Sean? I didn't see you there. All right. So yeah, actually he's one of the few people here sitting in the lobby. I didn't see you there. Okay, let's see how did Sean play here. Maybe Sean, you would be interested to join us, would you? All right, let's do it. In just a second. All right, we're gonna make any make no break. Just have you in a moment. I did not do it intentionally. I didn't see you really. I was just going through the games looking for familiar names.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you
So-
for inviting me.
All right. So how is it going for you? I mean, maybe tell something about your recent chess and successes. What are you looking for? Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, so I just got my second my second GM norm in the transnational tournament you were just mentioning in Canada.
Right.
So yeah, that was great. I'm looking forward to hopefully getting the third one soon. Yeah, so I mean, it's my first time here in Switzerland, but I really love the tournament. It's a great organization, and it's great to have so many strong players. So I'm really happy to be here. And tournament so far is going okay. I have 2 wins and 2 draws, so it's pretty solid so far. But this one was a really tough game, 6 hours.
Oh,
So,
really? You
yeah.
just finished? That's why you're
I just
looking.
finished, yeah.
All right, because we're waiting for one more game in the GMT. I think it's going to take something like 8
Right.
hours.
Yeah.
All right. But maybe you could walk through your game and pinpoint some of the critical moments. So instead of me going through it and try to guess, I'm simply going to give you the mouse,
Perfect.
and you could do it for us if you could, please.
Great. So so where do I play the moves? Oh, like here.
Sorry, yeah, no,
Here?
moves is up.
Okay, great. Yeah. So so I was prepared. I prepared this special like D5 A3 line. There's Alexei Sorana who often plays this line. I really like to look at his games in this line. It really inspires me. So it's actually pretty tricky for black because if they play like something normal like C5, then after let's say takes and 92, it's actually pretty unpleasant for black somehow. So yeah, but my opponent found like the good moves. He was playing well, and yeah, so C5 is best. Then this is all preparation.
You can refresh here if you want to.
Perfect. Yeah.
Just
So-
to ruin analysis, yeah.
Yeah. So this is all pretty normal. There was this possibility of knight g4 here. I just checked with engine, and I think it was the best move here. And I thought that after knight f4, bishop takes f1, queen takes g4, I had enough compensation, but apparently not. It's pretty complicated still. I prepared something similar, but I guess the position was not exactly the same. So this is a bit better for black, apparently. But yeah, it was pretty complex. So he went rook c8, c4. I think this is a good version of the Nimzo for white because I have the bishop pair, and if I can play d5, then this bishop really opens up, and it's pretty powerful for white. I think usually black wants to have more pressure on the central pawns, so I was pretty happy here. But then he kept fighting. Then yeah, after queen f4, which I missed, I took on e6, which is a big mistake. Apparently rook c3 was better, which I just saw. I guess with the idea of rook f3, maybe bishop c1 as well. I didn't consider this move, honestly. But yeah, clearly better than what I did, for sure. Because after d takes e6, f takes e6, I can't take on e6, obviously, because of knight c5, attacking the queen and the rook. So yeah, then I was forced to play queen e2. So rook e8, knight h5, we traded many pieces. And after rook f8, I was pretty happy to play bishop b1 here, with the idea that if he takes on f2, then king h1, and it's pretty hard to defend h7. So I thought, like, if knight f6, I can take. And I was looking at some lines like queen takes h7, and if king f7, I thought even maybe bishop g6 was interesting here.
Nice.
I wasn't totally sure, but I do think it's much better for white. So yeah, but maybe there's something even stronger here. I wasn't totally sure yet. But yeah, so he went knight f6 instead. And the difference is that now, if I do the same thing, like let's say queen takes, king f7, there's no bishop g6 here. So yeah, it was really confusing, this position for me. But yeah, no, like this was really surprised. But yeah, so I decided to take here. And yeah, we just basically traded many pieces like this. And here in this endgame, I thought my chances were good because this pawn on h5 is really powerful with the bishop on g6. h6 is a weakness, and his pieces are a bit passive somehow. Like if I can double on the d file, maybe I can win this. So yeah, we ended up trading bishops, and yeah, so here, yeah, this working game was really unclear. Yeah, made a few mistakes here apparently. I think f4 was inaccurate. I think f5 as well maybe. So yeah, it was really tricky. And here, in this position, I think that was one of the critical moments at the end. I was trying to make rook f8 work with f6 takes here, and then king takes, rook takes a7, king f6, rook h7. So I was pretty happy with this. I thought this worked. Then I realized that if I take on e7, he can go king f7. And it's still winning, but I couldn't really see how. But apparently I have to play something like rook takes a7, and here I was worried about rook f3 with rook f6, and I thought like I can't really make progress there. But apparently I can play g5, and if rook f4, king g3 takes in h6, and apparently this is winning. And yeah, I failed to see that during the game.
Ah,
So yeah,
nice, yeah. Maybe you can shot and then this rook h4, h7, and in the end this h8 and e8 queen. Very
exactly.
nice.
So yeah, let's say rook h6. I can promote here, then promote again, and then rook e8, winning the rook.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty nice. I missed it during the game. You know, of course, if you tell me there's a win after this, I'll find it. But
Of course, you
during the
don't know
game,
that.
it's yeah. I thought king f7 was the saving move for black. So I went rook h8, king g7, now f6. And the reason for that is that I wanted to have the two connected pass pawns like this. So we move along here, and he has two weaknesses. So I was able to win one of them after some maneuvering, like this. Yeah, because now it's like he can't really move anything. If he plays rook e8 to keep all the pawns protected, then rook a7 comes, and it's also unpleasant. If he moves the king, then king f4 maybe. So yeah, he ended up giving this pawn. And yeah, he played e5, but that allows me to trade one pair of rooks like this. And yeah, after this, I still wasn't sure. There are so many games like this that can be a draw sometimes. But here my pawns are just too advanced, and my king is also too active. So after rook f3, e2, rook f2, he resigned. Because he can't really move anything. If he moves the rook, of course, I take on e2. And I'm basically just going to go h7, next move. So even something like this, let's say rook h1, I can even simply take here and king g6. And this is a winning endgame for me. So
Right.
maybe there's something even simpler, but this should be good enough.
Right.
So yeah, after rook f2, finally, game was over. But
6 hours.
yeah, long game.
Wow, wow. All right. Is this your first year in Biel, or have you been in Switzerland before?
It's my first time here.
First time?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I love the country. I think everything's nice so far. I'm really looking forward to probably coming back here next year.
Uh-huh, that's great to hear. Are you planning to extend your stay in Europe with some other tournaments?
No, I actually just spent 2 weeks in Africa, in Ivory Coast, for the French.
A lot of players came from
Yeah.
Ivory Coast, actually. I hear also our arbiter came from Ivory Coast.
Yes, he was the arbiter there.
All right.
Yeah,
Somebody else, I think.
yeah, Miley Jade Willett.
Yeah.
Yeah, also from Canada. So
Okay.
yeah, it was. So yeah,
Nice.
after like almost 4 weeks, I'll be heading home after this tournament.
So you are not going for this Morocco tournament?
I actually will. Yeah.
You will, but first you'll go
yeah.
back to Canada, right? So, yeah, one of the Canadian tournament organizers, he's also co-organizer of this very strong tournament in Morocco. I'm not sure if it's been announced yet or not. Probably it has.
I think it has. Yeah.
It has been, yeah. So pretty incredible with amazing prize fund. All right. Any other, I don't know, general impressions? How are you spending your days here in the mornings? What you're doing?
Well, the games are like pretty early for me. I usually, I don't wake up so early, so I just prep for the game and I come here. But one thing that I noticed is, I don't know if I was mistaken, but I think Vincent had maiden too.
Yeah, he had a maiden
Yeah.
too. I mean, it was quite funny because one would have thought he immediately noticed it, but he did not. And when he came here before the interview, I asked him, "Did you see a mate?" And he was like, "What mate?"
Yeah.
And then I told him, and he was having a good laugh. But of course, he was having something like +10 in the possession, so it did not
Yeah,
really
it was winning anyway, but yeah, I saw him. He started thinking, and I was wondering maybe there's a broadcasting error or something.
We have some broadcasting errors, unfortunately. The internet sometimes is a bit tricky here. I'm not sure why. Are you following also the GMT?
Yeah, I think I think Arjun's games are always impressive. Yesterday against David Navarro, that was a crazy game as well. But yeah, it's definitely like during my own games, I often look at their games, and
Right.
yeah, it's really nice to see how they play.
Well, once again, thank you for joining us. I didn't plan this, but it was such a nice coincidence you being here. You were the world champion for youth last year.
Yes, 2022. Yeah,
Last year, okay. I thought I remembered that. And by the way, you beat me in Canada, although it was a rapid game,
Yeah.
and I was very unhappy about it.
yeah, it was a
I
crazy.
got a good
tactical game.
position after the opening with the black color.
Yeah, but it was
Anyway,
tricky. So
But yeah, Sean won this very strong tournament in no, you did not win, but you got the final norm in the Canada. with a great performance.
Thank you.
So once again, congratulations, and
Thank
I
you.
wish you best of luck in remaining rounds.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So hopefully you'll get the third norm.
I hope so.
All right. Best of luck to you.
Thanks.
All right. What we are going to do is, if you want, I can make a very, very small break of something like just a second, 2 minutes, and see you back, everybody, in a moment. We are back. Angelica is still not here. Maybe she's going to join us at some point later still, but the day is still continuing. We just had the very young talent here with us in the studio. He explained his thought process of his victory here in the hunt of the final GM norm. But let's go back to the final game of the GMT tournament, and let's have a look at what's its current status right now. Okay, this game, I believe we can go back. Just a second, let me find the actual camera for the event. There you go. Okay. Like I already said, nothing much has changed. And last time we left this position, it was about here. So rook b7 was played. Black tried to protect the knight on b5 so that the king cannot jump back so that the king cannot jump back to the king side. King h2 was played. This is where we left the game. Couple of moves have been played. King d5, bishop f8, king c4, so that white cannot take on g7 because now the king protects the knight. King g1 went back. Rook f7 pushing away the bishop. White decided to defend it. Slowly but carefully, this position is equalizing, and I guess the endurance probably is going to start to take its toll at some point. You could see how energetically Diak was making the move. And this is where your physical preparation is important, because when you're playing high-level games, the games can last for a long time, 5, 6, 7, even 8 hours. So right now the players are playing already 6.5 hours, and there's more to come. Knight c3 is played. Now black is very active. But again, the tournament situation for the players is basically demanding to fight it out, because the tournament system is as follows, that the victory is giving 4 points. If I could show you in a moment. There you see, there's the scoring system. Oh, just a second, long slide. 4 points for the victory in a classical tournament of the GMT, and only 1/2 point for a draw. And this means that the draw for Yu Yanyi is just not a great result. That's why he's trying to fight it out. That's why he's pushing. But in the end, it's going to be really difficult for him to achieve this. Bishop d6 is played, so he's seeking for some weaknesses. I guess the idea could be e4, bishop e5, rook g8, somehow try to get to this pawn. At least I see king d5 as a possibility. One thing which might have a factor in this game is the time trouble, because Diak is low on time. After spending all of this time, I mean 2 hours for 40 moves, 1 hour for 20 moves, 15 minutes until the end of the game, he is down to 3 minutes. Perhaps I can slightly zoom in so that you have a better view. There you go. Yeah, these long games, they're incredibly tough, of course, and every day is like them. So for Yu Yanyi, this is not the first day. Again, maybe I can zoom in a bit more. E4 is played by Diak. And again, he stands up. Now the question is, what happens after bishop e5? Is this Yu Yanyi's final chance? Bishop e5, not only attacking the knight on c3, but also threatening to play rook g8. Maybe this is not even a threat, because black can just play knight e5, attacking the pawn on e3, and always think about knight f6. Putting the knight on f6, attacking the pawn on h5, and looking for some simplifications. If the bishop is traded for the knight, this already should be a pretty clear draw. I'm not sure what white should do. Perhaps play king f2, activate the king. But then again, black can give a lot of checks. Let's say king f2, knight d1 check. I guess you're going to play king g3. There's knight x on e3. If you go back, there's knight c3 check. If you go king d2, this is a pin at the d file. Not really good. Maybe there's some sort of a rook c8 check, attacking the knight, and then threaten to play bishop e5. But then again, white needs to spend time to play rook g8 anyway, so probably this does make a lot of sense. It seems that finally black has survived. Yeah, bishop e5 is played. I mean, white has to try to get to this pawn on g7. You would expect that Diak is going to respond very quickly. Perhaps knight e5. The right approach probably is just to double check. If you're not missing anything, even if you have already made up your mind what you want to play, knight e5 possibly will be played. Okay, technically there's also knight e1, which looks a bit strange, because this would allow white to play something like bishop d4 and potentially exclude this knight from the game. Although there's f4, the game could potentially become more complex than it should. So I don't think we are going to see knight e1, although knight e1 takes away king f2 possibility for white. Right, how do you actually defend this pawn if knight e1 indeed works? Because rook a3, I see, is king b4. Bishop d6, and white protects the rook on a3 with a check. And knight e1 is played. I would have thought that knight e5 will be played, but no, knight e1 remaining grandmaster remains true to his calculation skills. He believes everything is all right. Maybe this is the final chance for the leading Chinese grandmaster to have some chances in this game. So the big question is now, what happens after rook a3? Not very obvious. I think this is a bit dangerous. But then again, I mean, Diak probably has calculated it all. Once again, king b4 is bishop d6. White wants to come here and pick up the knight. If white attacks the bishop, white can always play f4. There's no retreat with the knight. I don't like this. I mean, what was wrong with knight e5? This is slightly what I don't understand. Knight e5 seemed like the solid choice. Going back to the center, thinking about knight f6, maybe there's some, wait. There was f takes, and rook a4 check, or maybe first rook a4 check, and then f takes, because king d3 is rook d4 dropping the knight. And if you don't do that, white just collects the pawn. This probably was the reason why the remaining grandmaster decided not to do that, and he had to play 91. All right, maybe let's once again check this position. Rook a3, black tries to play rook d7, with some ideas to play rook d3. I guess some sort of a trade, and bishop d4, stopping bishop d3, and now thinking about marching forward the king. As you can see, Diak is walking, stretching the legs. Yeah, the physical endurance definitely plays a big part in these games, because you play a one long game like this, and then it becomes incredibly difficult to come back. Because this is essentially the story I can tell from my own personal experience. Because which year was this? Year 2021, when I got a chance to play myself in the Grand Swiss. This one of the strongest, not one of the strongest open tournaments in the world. And the average rating of the players was 2,650, right? So the first seeded was Fabi Corona. The top two places would get to the candidates, the strongest open tournament in the world. And I also managed to play in this tournament. And in the second round, I got to play a very long game against David Howell. So we played something like 8 hours. There was this absolutely incredible time control. So it was also something like 2 hours for 40 moves, 1 hour for 20, something like half an hour until the end of the game, and then whatever, plus 30 seconds on top of that. So me and David, we played for 8 hours. I missed my victory winning chances. The game finished in a draw, but after the game I was so exhausted that I could simply not recover until for the next game. So again, physical endurance plays a big part. So here they're going to spend for this game 7 hours, another 7 hours tomorrow, and it's really tough. The Chinese grandmaster apparently has made a move, but we don't have it. It seems that rook stands on a3. Let me refresh the board. Yeah, rook a3 is played. 1 minute for Diak. And some pleasant. But again, he is perhaps slightly saved by the fact that starting move 61, he gets plus 30 seconds per move. I'm not sure. I don't like this for him. You know, I see all kinds of ghosts, especially in time trouble. E takes on f3 is played. G takes on f3 immediately responded by the Chinese grandmaster to apply some pressure against his opponent. This is still not over, and the bar says white's chances now are much higher. But even without the bar, you can say the black is in trouble here. The knight on d1 could be could be a big problem for white. This would be really terrible for Diak, right? Leading such a long defense only to misplay it in the time trouble. 47 seconds. Yeah, he should be nervous. There's no more time coming. That's it. You just get 30 seconds per each move, and that's it. Nothing else is coming. Rook b7 is played. I guess he's looking for knight b2, a way out. And if Yu Yanyi could only find a chance here, he definitely senses there is a chance here. So he does not want to let his victory slip once again. I'm not saying this position is winning, but suddenly he has realistic chances to trick his opponent. The knight on d1 is stuck. The rook on b7 barely defends the pawn on g7 and also the pawn on h6. But how do you capitalize on that? Okay, the first question, I guess, is how do you stop knight b2? Maybe knight b2 doesn't even have to be stopped. What about king f1, knight b2, and think about rook a6. The idea is rook g6 and try to get to this pawn. Yeah, I guess black is in time to defend because the knight on d3 now attacks the bishop on e5. Not like this. f4. Engine doesn't like this. Even marks it as a mistake. So what was the choice? If I may, I can check. King g2, king g3, king f4 was the move he should have played. Let's say king g2, knight b2, and I guess king g3, knight d3, and bishop a1 with the idea to play rook c3. And if the knight goes away, white plays king f4. Actually, it makes sense because white would activate the king. So this is an endgame. f4 feels a rather unforced move. And now black continues with knight b2. Now the question is, how do you stop knight d3? I mean, knight d3 itself perhaps is not the threat because rook c3, white would win a piece. Maybe something like king g2. I mean, I do believe in one thing, that usually in these positions you try to play by series of moves, especially when your opponent is in time trouble. So it's like you play f4, you already expect that your opponent is going to play knight b2, and then you immediately execute the next move. Because then it's much more difficult for the opponent to be ready. But of course, I mean, these players already are playing the 7th hour of the game. They're tired. Yu Yanyi is now down to 5 minutes. Still some time to think about. Okay, what happens if he plays king g2? I guess you need to activate the king. Knight e3 is impossible. There's rook c3 check. Probably some sort of a king d5. Maybe king f3, knight c4, rook d3, king e6, and black is safe. So it's not working for white. Maybe he's looking for some bishop takes some b2 here and rook a7, but with such a king, this can never work. So he should be discarding this pretty quick. Now this f4 was rather strange move. Did he really miss knight b2? He looks a bit surprised. Maybe it's some quiet move, but I don't know. Maybe some bishop d4 would be tricky because knight e3 again is rook c3. Black drops the knight. And then after, if black plays king d5, he gives a check, king e4, rook e5, king f3. But with such an active king, I don't think that black ever risks to lose this game. Take it, knight e3. Actually, you can miss a mate if you want. Let's put it like this way. Rook f8, check, here with a mate on the board. I've seen stranger things happen. Now king g2 is played. Yeah, but the question is, why do you need f4 and then you play king g2? I think that Yu Yanyi realizes that now, that the opportunity might be gone. Another great move by the Romanian grandmaster. King d5 fired out very quickly, dodging this trick of rook c3 check, which would drop the knight. Now the knight is getting to c4. And all black needs to do is knight c4, king e6, and he is safe. I mean, this is, again, exactly the same scenario that Yu Yanyi had against Arjun Erigaisi. You remember? They played a couple of rounds ago. So, round one, actually, of the classical tournament. Yu Yanyi played a great game. He completely outplayed his young colleague. And all he needed to do is find one resource, this knight g8, knight f6. Very beautiful maneuver. And he would have won the game, most likely. But he rushed with something, with another idea, and then his opponent found a nice defense. Then closer to the end of the game, Yu Yanyi was given another chance to win the game, although much more complex. And he missed that as well. So this is essentially the same here, right? Again, he had outplayed his opponent from the start, got almost close to winning position, then he blew it, so to speak. Again, in a time trouble, he was given a semi-chance here. The knight on d1 is not very good. With king g2, king g3, king e4, white would have had decent chances, but unfortunately, Chinese player played f4. Yeah, now rook a5 check is played. This only pushes the black king where it wants. Okay, maybe he wants to trick into the black into playing king e4, which probably also is played. Is a possibility to be played. There's knight c4, there's knight e3. White cannot give a check on e5 because his king on has a check. Okay, maybe this is a possibility. King g3, take on e3, and take on f5 and seek some chances here, but objectively there's nothing to do. King e4 is played. It's the most active move, and indeed we are going to see this endgame. King g3, I think we can expect king e3. I'm not sure if rook e5 check is going to follow. Perhaps rook f5, difficult to tell. Perhaps give a check first, then take on f5, should not matter. And I think the simplest move to play here is something like rook b6, with the idea to play g6 and liquidate this into a draw. So let's say rook f7, g6, h takes, rook g6, king comes closer, and that should be a draw. So we are having this on the board. Rook takes on f5 was played. Now it seems rook b6 is the cleanest. There's probably nothing wrong with also rook b7 or any other move, maybe rook b1, rook g1. But if Diake is looking for the draw here, I think rook b6 and g6 is the most straightforward. So pretty sure he's just checking it out right now. Okay, maybe after rook b6 there's a check. Here, white cannot play 5 to stop g6. And then you just basically want to trade as many pawns as you can. Diake is below 30 seconds, but I don't think this is a real time trouble because he is used to playing time trouble. Rook b7 and not rook b6. It's just as good. And king g4 is played. Now black has some difficulties to stop g6, so white has some dreams to remove the rook, play king f5, king g6, and try to collect these pawns. I would have played rook b6 myself, I believe. Rook e7 would be a terrible mistake. That's rook e5 check, so black cannot do that. 20 seconds for Diak. Ten seconds. 5 seconds. And he makes a move. King g4. And again, he stands up. It's unbelievable. I would be glued to the table if I had such a time trouble. So he played king d4. Of course, the Chinese grandmaster is going to try king f5, king g6. Now, I guess rook f7 should be played to prevent this. I don't think he wants to test if this position after king g6 is a draw or not. Rook f7 is played, thwarting white's plans. White plays rook e5 and tries to set up some kind of a Zugzwang. Yeah, I don't think he should have done this, to be honest, because, again, if we go back to this position, it seemed to me that this moment, rook b6 was a simpler move. Just play g6 right away. And yeah, I see nothing bad with this. Let's say rook e5, king d4, there's no f5. g6 is very straightforward. Maybe, I don't know, here, g6, king g4. Maybe he saw something here. Like g takes here, but even here you can play rook f6, and that should be a dead draw. Should have been simpler. Now he is still, of course, within the drawing range, but it gives white some ideas. But of course, normally it's a draw. King g3 changes nothing. I guess he's going to toy with the idea to play 5, king 4, maybe rook e6, f6. Rook f6 could be a move here. No, king d4 instead. By the way, great defense entire game by Diak, who has shown amazing resistance. And I guess this is one of his strongest traits, to defend long, defend tenaciously, although he did make the slight mistake in the end. Perhaps this is the boost he's looking for. I think he knows. He knows he has a tough tournament. Things are not going well. But again, I mean, there's 8 2700 level players here. Right? So it's a great competition. Rook a7. Yeah, I guess white has no progress. Maybe the only trick here for white is to play some sort for rook a5, f5, king f4, f6, king f5. But rook b5, there's always king c4. Right. I'm really running out of ideas here to show to you. I mean, maybe Yu Yanyi is looking for some triangulations, but I don't think they're ever going to work. Perhaps he's looking for some scenario where black plays rook b7, he puts the rook on a5, and then he tries to play this f5, king f4, f6, king f5. Let's say something like this. I just show you. Here, black, let's say, waits. He plays king g4. Here he plays f5. Here, king f4. Here, some sort of a scenario like this. But even this position is a dead draw because black can always just take it, king f5, and even if white wins the pawn, as soon as the king makes here, it's just a draw. White cannot advance this pawn to queens. Rook f7 is played. So far, this marks the longest game of the tournament. It's 12 minutes shy of 7 hours. 84 moves played. Okay, maybe rook a5. The last trick. Rook a5, f5, f6, king f5. What else? Rook e6, rook g6, f5, f6. There's always rook f6. The same problem. White wins the pawn on h6, but it's not enough. I'm sure that Diak is going to hold this. A disappointment for Yu Yunyi for sure. I mean, again, missing a victory. Exactly like Erigaisi. What does it mean for the rankings? Maybe I can check very quickly because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to miss anything. So most likely this is going to be a draw. For Daniel Bogdan-Diak, this would allow to score extra 1.5 points, getting 6 points in total. For Yu Yunyi, that would mean 13.5 points, overtaking Le Quang Liem, who lost today against Vincent Keimer. This would give Yu Yunyi still some chances to fight for the win in the tournament. So it's not all that bad for the Chinese Grandmaster. Now Yu Yunyi is below 4 minutes. King g3. Doesn't change anything. I think any move draws here which doesn't hang a rook. So rook a7, rook b7. Maybe rook a7. Rook f6 also is a draw. So the only thing that Yu Yunyi can hope for is some kind of slip. Maybe the time. But again, we already discussed this in the previous broadcast and today that Diak is used to playing time trouble. So I don't think he's going to do it. Okay, 7, king f3. Yeah. So some triangulation. Diak is checking the score sheet. Is there trefoil repetition? He's not sure. I also would not be sure because these positions are tricky. You know, king g4, king f3, king g3. Who is the move? Rook b5, rook a5. I mean, it all looks the same. But he'll try, of course, to remember as soon as trefoil repetition actually occurs. Rook f7, king g4 is played very quickly. King d3. I think we saw this position already, let me see, once. Doesn't matter because f5 is on the board. At least twice we saw this position. Yu Yunyi tries his final chance. So he wants to play f6, but, I mean, rook e6, f6, but as soon as it prompts the rook trade, there's no chance for white. Just keep the rook on f7, and that's it. Maybe make sure there's no king f4, king e5, king e6. I think I saw also Yu Yunyi playing king f4. We don't have this move on the board for some reason. Let me check. No, still not here. This is the position. Again, any rook move is good. As soon as white will be threatening to play f6, just take it. Okay, maybe white is thinking about cutting off the king. So this is something you don't want to miss. Rook a7. I think rook e8 will follow. The only idea I can think of. Rook e8, rook d8, f5, king f5, king f6. Rook e8 is on the board. Maybe rook d7. 1 minute for Diak. Yeah, we lost the relay. The moves are not incoming, but again, I can put the moves for you because the position is really simple. He played king what? King d5. It's a bit strange move, but okay, there's nothing wrong with that. I would have thought it's a bit risky for black allowed the king to be cut off for so far. But then again, he wants to play rook d7. No, it's good. It's just good. Just a very solid draw. Diak knows what he's doing. So f6, g takes, king f5 is always, I guess, some rook a5 ideas. I think this is again, f5 is just rook f7. f5 is just rook f7. There's no need to calculate because this would complicate the game too much. King g6, rook g5, king h6. Our white is dreaming about something. But of course, f6 is just rook f7. And now after king e5, rook d7, most likely will follow. Although, just a second. If I give a check, black gonna trade rooks. And I go here. No, there could be some issues. Although I don't see how white plans to make a progress. Rook d1. Okay, that immediately, I guess, finishes the game because now rook d7 looks very safe. Oh, wait. Rook d1, rook d7, rook e1. Maybe this is what he wants. Rook d7, rook e1, so that after king d6, there's rook e6. But again, even here, f6 is rook f7, king e5. So this is some sort of a setup that Yu Yanyi is aiming for. Rook e7 instead is played. And now the king just waits. f6 is rook f7. We are 3 minutes shy of 7 hours of this game being played. Rook d2 changes nothing. I think black is going to play king c7. You wait, I wait. I know this trick, of course. No waiting moves are going to help you here. I think that's it. I mean, Yu Yanyi tried all of he could, but I'm just running out of moves here, because if this rook leaves the d file, the black king is marching here. As soon as white plays f6, it's rook f7. There's no progress, no ideas even. So maybe he's going to spend a couple of minutes, since he has 4 minutes, and we could see a handshake very soon. So what did David Navarro say? It would be logical to celebrate the International Chess Day with a 100-move game. He kind of regretted he didn't do that in his game. Well, there you go. There you go. You have it. It's move 94. f6 is played. G takes with f6. Why? Why not rook f7? Why? Just a second. What was wrong with rook f7? I don't follow. A bit strange. I mean, of course, there's nothing wrong with g takes and f6, but why allow king f5? I guess rook g7. That's what he wants, of course. of course. It's the same. Nice. I mean, not rook e5, rook g5, but rook g7. Great saving technique by the Romanian grandmaster. Draw was offered, I believe. I think I saw it. And they shake hands. Congratulations. 7 hours exactly played. You see, he's unhappy clearly about the game, but that's chess. That's sports. So his opponent showed some amazing defensive technique. And yeah, for the Chinese grandmaster, this is rough. So I'm not sure if we are going to get official results updated. Let me see. Not there yet. Could appear it in any moment so that we could show you the overall rankings. I don't think we're going to make an interview today anymore because there you go, there's the result. Because the players are tired. They played 7 hours. So we are going to give them a rest. Of course, we would love to hear what Yu Yanyi and Daniel Bogdan-Diak has to say in an interview, but hopefully another day, not after 7 hours. And these are the rankings. So Vincent Keimer, David Navarra share the first place with 17 points, followed by Yu Yanyi, who has now dropped back. Another missed opportunity for him, 13.5 points. The Kwang Liem lost an important game today against Vincent Keimer. But Amin Bassem managed to recover after 2 very painful losses, and he's back in the contention with 12 points. Jules Moussard is 10.5 points, Eric Gaisi and Daniel Bogdan-Diak having rather disappointing tournament so far. However, it was Diak who finishes today's game on a very positive note, and perhaps this is exactly what he needs for tomorrow's game. And by the way, I have a surprise for you.
Sorry that I couldn't join earlier. I was just busy figuring out the Beauty Awards. Today we had many submissions, and actually everything is already on the social media of the Biel Chess Festival Twitter and Instagram accounts. So you can for sure, I think, use command !vote and find Biel Chess Festival on Twitter, Instagram. Vote for the game which you think deserves the Beauty Awards, and you're going to see interviews with me with the players who deserve it.
That's right. So the action continues tomorrow, exactly the same time. Round 4 of the Grandmaster Triathlon starts 2 p.m. Central European Summer Time. Don't miss it. Watch the recap, which is going to be released shortly before the start of the round. Of course, we are going to play it out before the actual start of the stream. Again, happy International Chess Day. Hope you have a great time wherever you are, and we are thrilled to have you watching us here from Biel, Switzerland, and hope to see you back tomorrow. Take care. Have a great evening.
Good
Bye-bye.
night. Bye-bye.